I'm sorry.
Are you?
Sit down and talk.
Nobody has a fucking clue what's going on, so I've decided that you guys can partake in this madness. We are in Maladeth, central hub of information, otherwise known as the town of Google. Here we find the hub of the Silent. The Silent are a large group of myriad of assassins, and it's the capital of the country you live in, you fucking invalid. It's, yes, regardless, we are, Maladeth is home to the Silent, a myriad of assassins, spies, merchants who trade in illicit goods, unusual smugglers, and various people that trade in information and other stuff. You decided to use the Silent as your route into Maladeth, as opposed to using that is the country you live in, yes. Do you know what? We're just going to mindly replace our map with answers. I sent him the map.
I thought you just said we were in Garena, and now you're saying we're in Halgania.
I didn't say you were in Garena.
Maladeth.
You are in Halgania because Halgania is the capital of Maladeth.
Yep. And we're in Maladeth because, we're in Maladeth.
Okay, so Halgania is the capital of Maladeth, but then Garena is the
No.
What?
Halgania is the territory we're in.
I didn't take geography in school, okay?
Halgania is a country.
Okay.
Maladeth is a city in Halgania.
You just said it was the capital. Wait.
Garena is the capital of Halgania, like London is the capital of England. Leeds is still in England, but it isn't the capital.
No,
and London is not the capital of Leeds, nor is England the capital of Leeds, because London is the capital of England. And we got there? Welcome along to our shit show. Who gives a fuck, right? Our party are trying to work out who they're trying to rescue or why. They've completely lost track of all storyline threads, apart from some of them who have realised they've got a purpose. Lucius is currently going through family history issues and revisiting his past via a bottle of whiskey on the side of the river. Leopold is somehow actually quite in control of himself for once, which is probably why nobody knows what's going on. Rook is still carrying around the head of his father and will not be with us this session as he has gone to visit his father's grave. No, he hasn't really. He's taken a week out. He'll be back next week. We wish him all the best. Have a good time, Matt. We'll see you then. The Lady Kenna, the Ambassador Sharasso, as we know her, has decided to head through the route of silence as she's lost her trust in authority. And Brother Alari's just along for the ride, really. He sort of nearly killed himself in Teluria, decided, hey, I want to do more of that shit. Put himself on ice in the house of a random drow he'd never met. Got up, his party were gone, thought, yeah, I'll toodle along after them. He turned up, joined in with the battle, decided halfway through that he'd rather have a beer. And now here we are. Our 5 players with Alamore. And
when you say it like that, it seems like Alari's become such a flake.
Has he not?
That's my secret all along.
No, just suggestion's a fucking powerful spell.
Yeah. Regardless, our party find themselves having just emptied out the basement of the production wheel, as you were asked to. The Crimson Dagger lie dead upon the ground. You collect up all your loot and somehow squash it into the bag of holding. And some of you are majorly injured, I believe. Are you?
I believe I'm fine.
I'm fine.
Thank you for checking in, God. Don't worry.
I am currently trying to heal Iona.
Yeah, 16 cure wounds later and a quick refresh on some spell slots. You get her back to somewhat useful HP. Alamore is untouched during the fight and will supply her with a potion of healing to save on some of your spell slots.
Thank you, Alamore.
No problem.
So, I think it's fair to say at this point, I'm still rather confused as to what exactly to do, guys.
With what?
We sort of have an idea of why we're here, sort of, but there's so much we need to do, and then the question is just how the hell are we gonna do it?
Well, we need to go to the Golden Pestle and ask for wares that kept hidden to speak to Quavan, who's a higher up of the Silent, and that's where we'll find information about the wall.
You reading that on your hand, friend?
Yes, also buy bread and milk.
Well,
Remember.
I guess we could buy bread and milk and cook for ourselves. That'd be fine. Save on some gold.
Hmm.
But
But on this hand, it says pick up grandma from airport ship.
It's a shame
Well-
we have to be here on business. I always wanted to come to Meladeth and have some fun. Brothel's
well,
great.
Laura, we don't really have a time limit. At least I don't believe so.
Good point.
I mean,
Just, the entire world in chaos.
yeah, just the fact that we're at war right now with just about everyone. Yeah, I'm guessing there is no
Truthfully-
time limit, but I mean, war kind of means there's a time limit. I mean, gonna be real, guys.
Not really. I mean, some wars go on for years.
When isn't the world in chaos? It's in
It's
chaos
true.
somewhere.
Maybe it's
There's
time that
always
we
chaos.
deserve a rest.
I think so. It's about time that we actually just enjoy ourselves, just for at least for a day.
Yeah.
I guess we can take a day.
What
Well,
do you
that
think,
may be
Kenna?
true. I think we should go talk to Kavan before we do anything.
Just as on a DM perspective, taking a break at 9 p.m., taking a day off at 9 p.m. in the evening is not always the best advice. Perhaps you might wish to take tomorrow. Just a thought.
You know
Oh, it's
what?
9 p.m.
You know what, Kenneth? You're right. We should talk to Quavan first because he'll know where we should go to relax.
Hmm.
Yes, he can probably recommend the best spa in the city.
Well, I'm
Probably.
intrigued.
Yeah, why not? You want to go now?
Then
9 p.m.,
let's
it's not too late.
go. And we will all
Eh.
leave.
Hey,
Tim.
Leovold, how's your head? I did give you a good hit there.
A little bit dazed, a little bit not too bad though. I'll live.
Hmm.
I hope.
We really need
Hope
to
I don't
stop
have a
injuring
brain
each
bleed or
other.
anything.
I couldn't help myself, truthfully. I felt compelled to strike him.
To be fair, I feel like that's kind of deserved.
Now.
I mean, no, he's not wrong, is it? I mean, what's the cloak count running up at now?
I believe 3?
Yeah. Let's hope it doesn't become 4.
Let's hope so.
Otherwise, I might deserve more than just a club upside the head that time.
Kenna, as you are leaving the downstairs basement, will you please roll me a D100?
13.
13?
Yep.
Lucky number 13. You find a stone. This stone's magical ability is it appears to be magical if detected by the Detect Magic spell.
Oh,
Didn't we already
should
have
I have one
of
as well?
these?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're playing
I
Snap,
believe
aren't
I
you?
have one as well.
What happens if we put them together?
You get 2
Let's try.
stones, both of which are magical when detected by the Detect Magic spell.
Well, can when our powers combine?
They are
What
most
is this? Is that the
detectable.
Chaos Emeralds or the Dragon Stone or Dragon Balls or something?
Maybe there's 7 of them.
Yeah.
We'll just
Wonder
keep
what happens when we
searching.
collect the entire lot.
I think we should. Well, shall we go find Kevin?
Yeah.
I'm just going to lean into it at this point. So, you head over to the Golden Pestle, right, and you head in, and there is a man behind the bar who says, "Well, good eve, I am Perry, what can I do for you?"
I was
Sorry. Go on, Lucius. I don't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead, Maverick.
Yeah.
Hi, we're looking for Quavan. He also goes under the name as Kevin.
No, busy going large. Ask something else.
What?
Fucking hell. Nice one.
I believe. Listen, you have a nice place here, but I would like to see the wares that are kept hidden.
Ah, well, of course. Very well. Come with me.
By all means. And I'll hop over the desk.
He leans you. He looks at you very strangely. He walks out from behind the counter and towards a staircase at the front of the
I'll hop
store,
back over the desk.
and leads you upstairs. And as you reach upstairs, you see a ladder out the back, sort of at the back of the room, that leads down, 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 down. It says, "Please, be my guest. Head down. I'll be manning this shop."
I guess I'll go first. I see you down below, and I'll go ahead and lie down.
Can we just take a moment? Does Kevin and Perry exist in America, or is it just a UK thing?
Well, you have no idea what you're talking about.
Ah, okay. It's a wonderful comedy called Kevin and Perry Go Large. Hence,
It's good.
You know, yeah, you should watch it. It will make no sense to you American inbreds. Regardless, my joke fell flat as fuck, but I couldn't think of another famous. I should have made him Mr. Hart, shouldn't I? Never mind. Anyway, down you go.
Some of the music in that is also fantastic because Ibiza, the lyric trance.
Anyway, regardless, you will able to head down this large ladder should you wish.
And as I climb down the ladder, I just mutter, "What a thrill! Darkness and silence through the night."
Good man.
I'll move out of the way so to make sure that Leovold doesn't land on top of me.
And as you head
Gonna have
down,
my
down,
lad
down,
scene.
you come to the bottom of the ladder, and you come into a very well lit room. It is furnished cozily, and the very edges of the room are shrouded in darkness. But sitting quite relaxed on a large armoire. Large armoire? Yeah, that's one place to sit. On a large armchair is Quevan. He's got his hair coiffed back, blonde, sharp elven ears, and grey eyes. He looks over to you and... Oh. It would seem you dealt with the Crimson Dagger, then?
Yes.
Yep.
Interesting. I'm sure you have questions. Please, help yourself to a drink and take a seat.
Thank you. I feel like we're going to need that drink and a seat with how much we need to ask, but I guess
Is
perhaps...
there anything in the in here that I can look at? Anything interesting to look at?
From what you can see, there is a long table to the left, which seems to have a series of paperwork and notes on it. Next to that is a drinking cabinet with various excellent bottles and decanters lined out with glasses. It is from here that he has put the bottle of wine on the table and 6 glasses. And he's clearly
Glory
drinking
quietly
something.
refills his flask before pouring himself a drink.
Help yourself. That's fine. Across the room, you see a strange stone table. It looks like it's built into the wall as opposed to into the ground. And yeah, it's like a large concrete slab that appears to have some use. There are 3 dipped bowls inside it, but you don't understand the purpose of them. Go on.
Can I take the bottle that he's offering us and smell it and see if I can smell any poison?
Sure. Make a survival check.
That's 22.
Yeah, no, you don't smell anything. He's also drinking from the same bottle.
So he could have an antidote in him.
He could. I'm just making you aware he is also drinking from the same bottle. As you look to the upper and lower ends of the room, as I said, they're shrouded in darkness. You don't see anything at the very edges. But you do get the sense that there's somebody else here, at least.
Okay. I can see invisible things. Is the person invisible?
Nope. Just hidden well in the darkness.
But like, okay. Well, I have dark vision.
Yeah, that doesn't help you. No.
Well, I have a robe of eyes on.
Okay, tell me more.
This should be impossible.
Fine, give me a perception check. If you can hit a 30, you'll be able to see who they are.
That's impossible.
Yeah. That's because he's in an area of darkness.
I'm assuming it's magical darkness.
Very much so.
I can see magical darkness.
Can you? How can you see through magical darkness? If you tell me it's dark vision, then you will not get anything out of that. I believe only a particular warrior class, can see through magical darkness. Is that not correct?
There's an invocation I can do it
Wait,
too.
doesn't True Sight do it as well? Or...
Yep.
But none of us have True Sight, so...
No.
That's great for this.
Bless you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, as I said, at the top and the bottom of the room are some areas of darkness. You get the feeling that you're being watched from the darkness, but you can't see into it.
That's perfectly fine. Hey, Kevin. We're in Maladef. This is some of our first time. What's a good place to blow some steam?
You fought your way through a cult to come here and ask me where you can blow off steam.
But that's my question. The rest of them are going to have their own question.
There's the Merry Widow.
That's my question.
Probably the best tavern in town. Has an excellent games table. There is a casino. The 9-1.
Ah, I know that one.
The 9-1 is in the northeast of the town. There is a... if you wish for something more romantic, one might take a canal boat ride on the canals. You might take a stop off at the Promenade Hotel. Is it? No, Promenade Xerxes. Sorry.
Promenade closed down.
Promenade.
I have it
That
somewhere.
sounds
I
interesting.
just have a lot of them.
Tell me more about the promenade, please, Kevin.
The Quintessential, The Quintessential is a beautiful hotel out on an island. Go on, Maverick, spit it out. What do you want? If you're trying to see into the magical darkness, I'm going to change this dagger's direction.
I have a way of finding out who it is, or at least to know that there's someone there. My dear.
The DM told you there was someone there.
Well, I will cast Detect Thoughts nevertheless.
Okay.
Right.
You get a gleaning of Kevan's thoughts,
Right.
which are mostly fairly inane. I'm echoing off of you. Can you turn your mic off, Josh? Thanks. They're mostly fairly inane. You get the idea that perhaps he is aware that you've casted something in front of his face. And therefore is allowing his thoughts to drift to the last time he went down to the courtesan's house and the lovely redhead he met there. As you look further into the darkness, you get a vague impression of thoughts, but they are all in a language you don't speak. Halfling.
Not Goblin.
No, the halfling's not speaking Goblin.
I will turn to Kevin and say, "Damn, brother, that redhead was fine."
I'd appreciate it if you didn't cast any more inappropriate spells in my chambers. I'm here to give you information, but I have my ways of hiding from things like that if you want to try and detect them.
I was just curious what you thought of us.
Well, that be as it may. It is slightly impolite.
Is it?
Lucius, what are you doing right now? Are you sitting?
Wait,
Are you standing?
wait.
Sorry, yes, Maverick?
Hold on. You said that I got vague, thoughts of someone else but in a language I didn't speak.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I know that it's not the guy upstairs.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I'm going to say to him, isn't it awfully impolite to have someone else here?
No. These are my chambers. You came to them.
Right.
Am I forced to reveal my secrets at once? You don't.
No,
You don't think that
Rudeness.
given the various people I meet and their purposes, sometimes I can be threatened. It is worth having some backup.
Well, but if you have knowledge, you know that we're not here to threaten you.
Do I?
Don't you have knowledge?
I do. I have knowledge that one of you, at least, is chaotic and may attack at any given moment if provoked in the wrong way, regardless of whether they meant to or not.
Well,
I have knowledge that one of you is very, very angry right now and could potentially lash out and is quite dangerous in single-hand combat. I have knowledge that one of you uses strange magics that they hide from other people and brings them out at unusual times and...
Unusual times? What unusual times?
I also have knowledge that that person apparently killed the King of Halgania, but I'm not the one asking the questions, you are. So,
Well,
Any
I
other
would
questions?
just like to say I did not kill the king of Argane. Wait, what?
Halgania.
Halgania. I did not kill the king. Thank you very much. I killed his imposter.
That much is true. I will give you that.
Then why did you say that I killed the king?
Well,
Speaking
because it sounded more
of
dramatic. Speaking of, yes, diplomat Lady Kenna Shirasso.
the imposter,
Yes, what
can
about
you
him?
tell me anything about this? We hear
I
that
can
the
tell
council
you
member's
only
wife
what
is
my
also-
colleague has told you. They appear to have infiltrated the body somehow. Some sort of doppelganger-esque creature. Purple-skinned. They definitely follow Raveneska, who we have read about and determined that these were once followers of the Raven Queen. Although she seems to have undergone some change. There are mentions in their books about the planes of shadow coming to the material plane, but what that means or where that's happening, we're yet to see. It means we suspect everybody, but we also suspect nobody. You see, the problem is A, we don't have any way of determining whether anybody is under the influence of this strange infiltration. The wife we discovered by accident. A large player in the game, but not compared to the King of Halgania. Yes, Erland's wife fell off the side of a bridge and died, and immediately was revealed to be a purple imposter. Erland is a Grand Council Chamber member who may stand against you in the council.
Something about that's been frustrating me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, and this might be unrelated, but it wasn't the first time that we've dealt with doppelgangers. In fact, pretty close to Drathnor Keep.
That you are speaking of true doppelgangers, those who are amorphous in form when they are slain. Yes, no, they're not similar. Although their abilities may be similar, their purposes. Doppelgangers are solitary creatures. They are otherworldly. They come from another plane of existence. They don't come from our plane of existence. As far as we can tell, these purple creatures don't revert to a previous plane when slain. There are many, many other factors that tell us that they are not truly of the same race as the doppelgangers. Lucius, stop playing with that. You cut your finger on the side of the chair. It's full piercing damage.
I'll ask you this.
Yes.
Do you have any hope that those who have been impersonated may still be alive?
No. Not
They
at all.
seem to even have the memories when they take them.
They do, which is both fortunate and unfortunate, for when speaking with dead, we were able to see the memory of the falling of the person who they had infiltrated.
But not them.
But not them? What? I didn't understand the question, Lucius.
No, because you
As a
said...
DM, I didn't understand the question.
Oh, no, because you said even when you tried to speak with dead, you would get the memories of the person that they were.
No.
when they fell.
They had the memories of the person being killed.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay,
so they
But
saw that they saw
the
that,
actual.
Okay, for the love of God, let's give Erland's wife a name. Let me go and find that. It's Roseanne. So Roseanne, they witnessed Roseanne's death in the memories when they detected the memories of the fallen person who had died.
Yeah, it's like when we saw the death of the king.
You did,
The king died before his body was taken over.
You did indeed see the death of the king before the king was taken. So no, Lady Kenna, we have no hope for those people still being alive.
It seems that the death of the person being taken over is necessary before the body being taken over.
I would believe that is correct. Your companion is astute.
So, considering what we now know about these doppelgangers of sorts,
We've been calling them the followers of Raveneska, if that helps.
and followers of Raveneska, okay. Well, in that case, these followers, considering their characteristics and their abilities,
Dangerous, but
How many potential positions have been compromised?
thus far we have discovered 2 people. Very separate. What's to say that was
There is a
it?
possibility of more.
Of course,
right?
of course, it could be that every single one of us is compromised. The whole of the Grand
gonna-
Council, me, you.
As you say that, I'm gonna start like darting my eyes around the room, everyone.
I wink at Maverick.
Yes, it is better to operate under the assumption that nobody is infiltrated and be careful and be wary at all times than it is to operate under the assumption that everybody could be compromised, at which point we will spend our whole time chasing our own tail.
True.
Yes.
When sorry.
Lucius, go on.
No, this. You mentioned Ravenesca. Do you have any books? You said that Ravenesca changed.
The Raven Queen changed. She seems to have become Ravenesca.
Do you have any books on the Raven Queen?
We have histories of the Raven Queen, although I personally am not a library. You might wish to head to the library, and there you will find information. The Circle are also holders of lots of information. It is from them that we learnt about the change of the Raven Queen.
Does she have any?
And how good are
temples
you with
in-
languages?
Myself, exquisite. How good are you at languages? A strange question.
Well, the reason why I asked is because I'm trying to figure this out, and I'll show him the book that I've been trying to decipher.
You have a copy of the Tome of Ravenesca. I've read this book.
Yes. So, how much have you deciphered? Have you deciphered all of it?
I don't think that anyone truly can decipher all of it, as it has different meaning depending on the reader. But I have translated each word to another word, if that is helpful. But take this, for example,
Perhaps.
and he takes the book from you and flicks to page sort of 30. And he says, infiltration must be swift, and must be on a scale that they cannot predict. Take that sentence. We could not predict any scale whatsoever, so that tells us nothing. Swift implies that it happened quickly, but when did it happen quickly? Was this 6 years ago, 6 weeks ago, 6 days ago? There is lots of information in this book, but it is information not directed at you nor I.
When the wife died,
Yes.
before she died, did she act in her usual manner?
Yes. Completely.
Then why didn't they? I'm not like specifically asking him. I'm more just saying it out loud.
You wish to know why they didn't take advantage of the infiltration and make things happen?
No,
No?
no.
No?
I was just
Next
gonna
question.
say, I wonder why the king didn't.
Perhaps the difference is in power. Subtle influence on one's husband can happen within the realms of one's abilities and one's normal actions. The changing of the direction of a kingdom and the provoking of war, it would seem to me that they sacrificed the king as a pawn to create war.
So, are you saying that when when they take over a body, they don't inherently know how to act like the person they're taking over?
No, quite the contrary. I'm saying that I believe they do.
Then why would the king act strangely to throw himself?
Because
off?
the king's strange actions provoked war from 3 other countries. That was clearly the intent. Why waste your time acting normally when you can create a war with 3 countries and sacrifice a peace? Do you play dragon chess?
No, the passage you just read from the book, it was to infiltrate swiftly without anyone knowing.
They didn't say anything like that. They said, infiltrate swiftly and on a scale to which they could not predict.
Right.
There was nothing about them acting in or out of character. I believe, as I said, if you play dragon chess, that this was the sacrifice of one of their pawns to take out, quite literally, one of our kings. No, but their infiltrator could well have been. To them, only a pawn. They've made a sacrifice. They have allowed him to die to provoke a war with 3 other nations. Effective, would you not say?
What?
I mean,
Why would they take over the wife of a council member
Well,
to subtly influence him?
Roseanne's
and
influence-
instead take over the council member.
Roseanne's influence on Erlan was well known. What is less known about Roseanne is she also had relations within the Silent.
It's worrying.
I believe that Roseanne was a source of information for them. Erlan has been upfront and told us that he has told his wife of everything that happens on the Grand Council. Not only that, but she is aware of lots that happens within the Silent. I think she was meant to go undetected. Just a source of knowledge. Her death was a freak accident.
A lucky accident.
See why you said to assume that we're all compromised.
No, I said quite the opposite. Assume that nobody is compromised and be wary of everyone. Because otherwise we will chase our tails endlessly.
I believe we're also chasing our tails in this conversation. My
Me
other
too.
question is, what do you know about Iron Giants?
The golems that attacked Drathnor Keep.
Yes.
Well, Luvela closed its borders about a year ago now. It was at this point that I knew you were going to ask me about this person's name. Back we go, back we go, back we go.
Is this the gnome that you're talking of? The
Lyric. There we go. Lyric, a leader of invention, came to the forefront as a creator of golems that could act independently. Whoever's typing, I can hear every single time you hit the keys. He was able to create golems that thought independently but still were loyal to a cause. The animation of golems is nothing new. We've seen it many times, but on this scale, it would have been too dangerous in the past, as one person's whims is all the golems were submitted to. These golems seem to follow a protocol that is programmed into them before their existence. Their loyalty does not sway even at the death of their master. Unless, of course, Lyric is the master of every one of them individually, at which point we have no knowledge. I am operating under the assumption that Lyric is not compromised, as we so called it. As I am with every country, I want to know each individual country's motives. Perhaps I will find
They were
ones
quite
that are motives I
formidable.
agree with. They were formidable. They are formidable. And they're not only at war with you. They're also at war on the east coast of Luvela. I'll just briefly explain that the Gnomes of Luvela are at war on the east coast of Jazuk with the Arakocra. The assassinations of Lonoth happened so suddenly that nobody could predict it. Each one was executed by a member of the Silent. Some of our best assassins. I will tell you freely, I don't know if an order was given, or if the Silent are compromised, although something tells me that reenacting the abilities that certain assassins have, take Vrax for example, or Drax, I think his name is Vrax, Drax, I don't know, one of the two.
Rax.
Thank you. His abilities are not easily replicable. I believe that he is not compromised. Therefore, how was he turned, or was he given an order? I cannot tell you. I do not know. Only one man could possibly know. Only one man is privy to all the workings of the Silent across all nations. And the Grandfather does not see guests regularly. Nor does he reveal his plans. I do know for a fact that he has not been compromised.
You know.
The Grandfather has been under the watch of 7 guards at all times for the last 26 years. Unless all guards were compromised simultaneously whilst in different places or on duty, without anybody knowing, which I believe to be impossible.
There was never a moment he was ever by himself.
Never.
What about when he went to the toilet?
No.
What about when he went to bed?
No. Never. The Grandfather is never alone.
How many guards are with him when he's,
7
let's say,
at all times. All
in a bathroom?
times. Yes.
How big's the bathroom?
He lives in an open room with all his amenities on display. It is a sacrifice the Grandfather makes when he takes the position. It is not one I envy.
Disturbing. So then if this man isn't compromised and yet the Silent are making strange moves, then
You have to assume
That's right,
either the
that's-
assassins are compromised, they were blackmailed in some way, or turned, converted, or an order was given within the realms of the Silent.
How do we know we can trust you?
You don't. But you better hope.
It's a very good point.
What would you do if you couldn't trust me? You can't kill me.
We don't know that.
Well, I should tell you for free, killing me you would find impossible. I would be gone before you even managed to finish drawing your blade.
Well, if you have an ability like that, why don't you do more?
I'm a watcher. That is my job.
So,
It is the job to which I'm detailed, and therefore it is the job I do. Within
Then
the
you can
Silent,
do
you don't
both.
question orders.
but you're questioning whether or
Big
not your
maverick.
order is even infiltrated.
No, you may question the orders of others, you never question the orders you receive.
But
Greater
you-
motives, sure.
But wouldn't you question the orders you've been given if your whole organization has been infiltrated?
I don't think it has. I don't believe the grandfather has been compromised. I told you that
When was the last time you spoke with him?
yesterday. But we do not
How
speak
did we
face to
speak with
face.
him?
I do just want to roll just a general insight on this guy.
Please
just
do.
just to be certain.
He's a consummate liar, but at the moment you get the impression he's telling the truth. But give me an
Does-
insight check.
Does anyone see him face to face?
Yes,
Who?
my superior.
Are you sure about that?
Yes.
And
19. by the way.
is he the only person?
Sorry, what was your roll, Larry?
19.
19. Yeah, you got the impression he's telling mostly the truth.
Is he the only person that sees him?
No, some higher up operatives get their orders from him directly.
How many?
I'm not privy to the exact details, but I would assume between 5 and 7.
Doesn't seem to me that it's completely out of thought that your order isn't already infiltrated.
It's not impossible, but it's not what I choose to believe. I am, of course, wary, but right now my order is to watch and record information. That doesn't seem particularly dangerous to anybody directly.
That's true. I have a question then regarding the orders of others and questioning
Yes.
that. Tangentially related. There was a person you mentioned, Vrax.
Some of us believe he went rogue, some of us don't.
And nobody knows whether it was the orders that he was given or whether it was a rogue.
Well, I can tell you this for free. The bounty placed on his head was placed by the Silent, by the grandfather himself.
Oh.
That doesn't mean that the grandfather didn't also order him to make the killings.
Ah.
Sorry,
Mhm.
jog my
That-
memory. Was this Drex person?
Drax is the person who assassinated the jeweler.
Ah, yes, of course. Yeah, that was Vrax.
The
It wasn't
rogue-
just
It was the rogue Silent.
another one. Yeah.
Their best assassin.
Yep.
Is there any way to gain counsel with him?
You wish to speak to the grandfather?
It wouldn't hurt.
There
I know
are
that's
two.
a huge ask.
There are two ways you may achieve this. It's not a huge ask, but it's a huge compromise for you.
What are the two ways?
You swear the oath of the Silent and join the Silent.
What's the oath?
The oath of the Silent is complex, but it swears you to various things, such as secrecy from certain other members of the Order, for sake of propriety, so that no one person knows everything. You must swear loyalty to the grandfather himself.
Uh-huh.
You must swear to do as your orders bid you. You must swear not to use the power to change the political standing of any one nation. You must,
Okay.
you must swear not to act on your own accord to take advantage of knowledge you've gained through the Silent. And the list does go on, and this is a magically binding oath. Breaking it is death.
Before I ask you what the second way is, if all of those rules are in place, what is the purpose of the Silent?
To watch, to record, and to profit.
But you just said you can't. Wait. You just said you can't use the information.
A personal gain. That was what he said.
Personal
They
gain.
still get paid.
The silent gain.
Okay.
The silent gain overall.
Isn't that personal gain for the organization?
Yes. The organization is the primary concern. I could not, for example, use my knowledge that Erlan's wife was sleeping with somebody else before her death to compromise Erlan. She wasn't, by the way. Just an example.
So,
But
you might be asking,
if the Silent asked me to use that information to compromise Erlan because they believed that his position was putting the Silent at risk or causing us a lack of profit or causing us a trouble with operating, then I would lean heavily on it.
So, okay, before Leovold, hold on a second. What's the second way to gain an audience with him?
The grandfather? You send a request.
How do we do that? Do you have a form we fill out?
No, I will send the request for you. But what he will ask of you in return, I don't know.
What has he asked of other people?
Well, let's see. Silos, the bard. He was asked to slay a dragon in single hand-to-hand combat with no weapon.
Already that we can... Oh my god, I hope he asks for that because I've already got the dragon scale. To prove it.
One particular gentleman was asked to go to the eastern borders of Arenti on foot.
Where's Arenti?
It's on the screen.
Yeah, but I'm not looking at the tweet.
Yes, then I've got nothing for you.
Arenti's the continent in the southeast. It's
country.
it's
Don't
obviously on
confuse people.
Discord.
Don't confuse people. It's a
Oh, the
country.
desert place. The desert
Yes.
place.
Yeah, the desert place. Yeah.
One
that's
particular
not that
person was
far.
asked to secure... Yeah, no, it would only take you about 3.5 months. One particular person was asked to secure a strange purple gem from a local jeweler's. The grandfather's whims are different and unusual, and it is my personal opinion the difficulty of the task is based on how much he actually wishes to speak to you.
Okay, before I reply to that, would I know anything about the Raven Queen?
No.
Oh man. I'm gonna make a reference to him being like a Raven Queen or whatever.
Sorry.
Leovold, I'm sorry to hold you up, please. Ask your
That's okay. It's okay. We've all got questions. It's not a big deal. So, back on the note of Vrax. Vrax, you said, was the person that carried out the assassination at Drathnor Keep that we bore witness to. That
You
happened,
did all witness it, yes.
right in front of us as well. So, Vrax, compromised or not, has his bounty on his head from the grandfather.
He does.
Right. How much of a chance would we have of being able to deal with Vrax?
I suppose you mean if both him and all of you were to enter into an honourable duel, and you were all locked in the same room, and you each had equal opportunity. You know, one of those nice fair fights that happen in Legend. You wish to know to whom would be the victor. Vrax
What would be our
is
chances?
formidable in combat. You are not. Though, rumor has it that you have your abilities. Perhaps some of you would survive. But I doubt Vrax is going to give you an honourable duel in a locked room. Fairly.
I certainly
If you
not,
can
no.
find him, would be the most astounding feat.
What can you tell us about how he comes and goes?
Swiftly, silently, and some form of teleportation.
Teleportation we did witness. Do you understand his teleportation in any way, or...?
He's blessed with the power of the psionics like a mind flare and illithid. That much I know.
Ah,
Do you
He
know of
walks
any
through.
defense?
He walks through walls. He incapacitates your mind. And he disappears and reappears at whim. No. Vrax has never failed an assignation.
considering the threat he poses, the bounty seems rather minuscule. going to be honest.
Quite. That's a very accurate perception. Part of me thinks it's a cruel joke.
We didn't. Did we get a name for Rook's sister? Okay. Then I'll just vaguely ask, what do you know of the Orc army? Yeah.
It is mostly scattered, confused, a little bit of a loss. Some of it pounds on Garena's doorway. Some of it retreated into the forests of Karat. Some of it cut off by the dwarves of Pozotna.
The leader of said army is dead. What do you know of his daughter?
Ah, yes. I believe it is the sister of your companion, is it not?
I prefer not to say.
Regardless, I will say it for you. Yes, but interestingly intelligent for an orc. She is a shaman.
Bit rude to stereotype, is it not?
It's correct.
So rude.
She is interestingly aware and intelligent. She is a shaman, but not lost to the mind of Grumsh like some mindless idiot. She intrigues the gnomes. Sorry? She's a shaman, yes.
Isn't that just like a druid?
It's basically a priest of the orcs. She worships Grumsh, but not blindly. She has a relationship with the gnomes by which there seems to be a mutual respect, which is thoroughly disturbing. They normally respect nobody unless they are of very high intellect.
Do you have a name?
She has a few names. And that is probably why you don't have one. She is most commonly known as the Blood Singer. That's
a title.
That is what she is called. Yes, but it is a title by which she is called more directly than by a name in her Orcish tongue. They call her simply Blood Singer.
Why singer?
I would assume this refers to the Orcish shamanistic ways of calling to Grumsh through blood. In showers of blood, they make their pleas to their god.
Does she have any magical ability?
Very much so. She is a strong priest of Grumsh, as I said, and has some magical ability of her own. She is also known as the Curess. And her name has been given as Vola, which is also the name of her mother.
Vola?
Vola, yes, V-O-L-A.
Vola.
Also the name of her own mother.
Do you know where she is?
I know she's in Karat. That is as accurate as I can be.
What's Rook's mother right now?
Rook's mother has been evacuated from Garena and is on her way to Drathnor Keep.
So that's the orcs who we were at war with. There are other people that help.
Say we.
By we, I
I'm
mean...
intrigued, Leovold. You are loyal to Halgania as a whole, to the Lady Selene, to Drathnor Keep. Where do your loyalties lie?
To all of the above, as such. We've been, pulled into this chaos, this tumultuous situation.
And if the Lady Selene believed that Maladeth would be better off cut off as part of Halgania,
then
where would your loyalties lie?
That would be hard to say, because I have ties to the whole of Halgania based on my heritage. But Drathnor Keep is where I always called home.
What if the Lady Selene decided to go to war with Tuluria and exterminate the elves? Where do your loyalties lie, Leovold?
That's pretty extreme.
That would be an extreme case, and I would have to strongly consider all of the justifications and the ramifications before I could even...
So I ask again, when you say we, do you speak as the royalist who believes in Lady Selene and her rule of Halgania? Do you speak as your 5-6 friends that you have here? Do you speak of Drathnor Keep? Do you speak of Halgania as a whole? To what do you speak of when you say we?
That is an excellent question.
Because Maladeth is not at war.
I know.
So when you say we, you are in some way making the assumption that I believe that I am at war.
No. When I say we, I do not mean we as in you. I mean.
Ah, so your we does not encompass me, therefore you don't believe that Algania should contain Maladeth.
Sorry, what is with the riddles? Are you okay?
It's fine, but he's just intrigued by what Leovold means when he says we are at war.
We as in us. That does not necessarily
Are
mean
you at war?
because as you said, you're
Are
not
you
at
fighting
war.
on the front line? Is anybody
Well,
attacking
was.
you right
We
now?
certainly have,
Yeah,
sir.
we certainly
And
were
mind the
fighting on the front
actually
line.
being taken down a notch. Thank you very much.
I merely point this out because the war with Drathnor Keep is quite clearly over.
Well, Teluria was also attacked, was it not?
Yes.
Garena?
Corano, Teluria, yes, Drathnor Keep. There's not much point attacking it now. It would be a small hop over a short wall.
The war is
Yeah.
not over, sir.
The war for Drathnor Keep is over. The war
The
for
war-
Halgania continues.
Not to sound like a movie, but it's only just begun.
So what you are saying is you wish to commit acts of war to other countries, on other countries?
No, whoever said that?
Okay. So you are not choosing to continue the war. You're telling me that the war continues because you believe the war continues.
No, the war continuing is just a fact.
Ah, there is
We-
definitely a war continuing. Yes, there is certainly one continuing at Garena right now. Teluria appears not to be under attack right now, but could potentially be under attack in the future, and Drathnor Keep, as I said, is not worth attacking anymore.
Right.
So you are
why-
speaking in terms of Halgania, correct? When you say we, Leovold. This is important to me. I study all countries equally. There is the war between Luvela and Jazuk, for example. There is the war between Lornoth and Arent. There is the war between Pozutna and Akana. To which war you speak of is a rather pernicious point, in my opinion.
I believe the war we're speaking of is to alleviate our boredom. This has been quite the regaling conversation. Everyone seems to be going back and forth and chasing tails today.
Quite.
I know we just had a fight. I had one last question, and I'll go ahead and write on a piece of paper and slide it over to him.
He picks it up.
My question. As for mechanically, DM, it's in your DMs. What I ask.
Does the he refer to the person asked during the question or to Kevin himself? For connections.
It refers to the question, the guy. Yeah, him.
I'll look at you. Not kindly.
Hmm.
And no.
Let me see. Okay.
Do you wish to
My
contact
next
them?
question.
Do you wish them to be contacted on your behalf? For though they are not connected with the Grand Council, connection with myself would be fairly simple.
Yes.
At this moment, a halfling steps forward out of the darkness. Why not ask your questions freely?
Ah. Alright.
Holy shit!
You always knew he was there. All of you knew he was
Yeah.
there, you just didn't know who it was. He's a simple halfling. He appears armed, but not dangerously so. He has short black hair and a glint in his eye, and he looks directly at Lucius and says, "Why not ask your questions freely?" The man you ask of works directly for me.
He works for you.
Yes.
What does he do for you? What does
Various
he
things.
facilitate?
He operates a band that people believe to be individual, a band of dwarven descent, a band of criminals. However, they all work for us. At which point you ask, who is us? And I tell you, Freeney, that I speak of the Syndicate.
if I want to contact you outside of this conversation, will I be able to?
You could try. You may even succeed. I find you interesting. But no,
Do you?
I'd rather not. You wish to speak privately?
Yes.
Very well. Come into the darkness.
I'll do so.
Lucius, as you walk into the darkness, you are able to keep walking and walking and walking. And you come to a small door. He opens the door. You will have to duck to get through this. And it leads out into an alleyway. It takes you down a series of short turns and then says, I apologize, but at this point you'll be blindfolded. And you can no longer see. In one gesture. He leads you down a series of other turns, and then he lifts you off the ground. You would assume that it's not him that's lifted you. He was a halfling. These hands feel larger. You are turned multiple times until you've lost your sense of direction. And you are sat upon something with wheels. It moved swiftly, appearing to turn left and right at no particular interval. And then he says, you may see now. And so you can. And standing before you is simple halfling. Black eyes, black hair, and you don't see anybody else around. You're in a small, dark room. The halfling lights up a cigar and slides you a packet, and gestures towards a glass on the table, should you wish to drink. And as you look over to the left, Lucius, you see Iona. She's bound and sat.
Oh, what is this? Why is...
Security. She'll be let go. But she has questions too, and she wishes to know. Or did you not wish to speak in front of her?
No. It's fine.
Excellent. So, I suppose introductions are in order. What name would you go by today? Any in particular? Would you prefer?
I prefer Lucius, but you may already know me as Red.
It's one of the names I've heard you called, yes. Interesting story you bring with you. But I suppose you wish to know who I am.
Yes.
My name is Favris, but you may call me Grandfather. Yes, Grandfather.
So...
Of your group, I found you the most interesting.
Well,
You could at least see the
I'm
wheat from the
definitely
chaff,
surprised.
as the conversation was going backwards and forwards to no avail.
Yes.
Frax was given the orders to kill. But not by me. That
Not
you
by
may
you.
tell your party for free. He was given orders by me that he believed to be from me, but I did not give the orders.
Do you know who?
I suspect somebody very strong in magic of the mind. Very strong. He believes he's acting on my accord. But my attempts to contact him have been diverted. I cannot reach him, so I cannot stop him.
So he's just...
A loose cannon.
He's just a... Yes.
Yes, very much so. Being pointed wherever
Yeah,
they
must be
wish to point him. Oh, I have various people on that, but as yet nobody is able to find him. The problem is not killing him. The problem is finding him. What concerns me most is that he has not broken his oath to the Silent. If he could be made to break his oath to the Silent, he would be in fact dead.
He'd be killed.
Instantly, by his own oath.
Is there a way to lure him out?
If your mind works in tighter circles than mine, be my guest, but Right now I have no answers. I'm going to leave you, Lucius, for a moment and come back in a second. Maverick, Kenna, Brother Alari, Leovold. Quevan turns to you all and says, well, it would seem that the superior of my superior has decided to take your friend for a chat. I am more than willing to answer any more questions you have, but frankly, it's a muddy darkness. I'm not trying to be obtuse nor be difficult, but there is so much information, and so little of it makes any sense. So I will attempt to be concise. Lady Kenner, I do not...
Superior of your superior.
The superior of my superior
mean
means the grandfather, yes.
Well, it solves that one problem.
Perhaps, or perhaps not. That depends how closely you trust your friend Lucius. Regardless, allow me to attempt to sort this out swiftly for you. Key piece of information you may not know. The Lords of Lornoth were all executed by the Silent. The purpose of this seems to have been to press Arenti into war with Halgania. As Lornoth has pressured the borders, they have also made large payments, forcing the Dragonborn to wage war upon Halgania. I do not believe the current Lords of Lornoth to be compromised, but they certainly have a different taste and a different view, and they were in disarray for a while. Perhaps they were easily subverted. As for Jazuk, I do not believe the Aarakocra to be in any way subverted. They fight loyally for the side of peace and normality, but they fight bravely against both the those weird bird people that can't speak out loud and the gnomes. Kenku, thank you, that's what I'm looking for. Against the Kenku and against the gnomes. The Gnomish appear to be acting on their own accord, although why, I have no idea. They have never had any particular dreams of conquering before, but they've been an oppressed nation for a long time, who knows. The Orcs work for whoever pays them the most. Pozutna is still loyal to Halgania. Okana work under some fanatic religious belief that this strange being that has come to them is their god and lord, and everything he says is truth. But they attacked Halgania on the basis of the king's actions. I believe the Kenku did too. His origins are strange. Apparently he was a fire genasi who walked into the ocean, stayed there for 3 days, and then ascended into the sky, stayed there for 3 days, and then emerged from a volcano. It is a strange trial that fits a prophecy made once long ago about the savior of Akana.
Do either me or Kenna know anything about this?
You would have heard of the prophecies once long ago, perhaps when you were told by your parents, but as a fairy tale more than as an actual story. These prophecies dictate that somebody will come to save Akana and bring the Genasi peace and understanding of their true nature. You would be able to embrace all elements of the Genasi, not just your own element. That is the prophecy. But so far only one person has fulfilled it, and he appears to be earth, water and fire Genasi simultaneously. As for Salmisar, they are, as always, supportive of Halgania and not causing much of a barrier between Akana and Telluria. As for the issues in Halgania, Garena is going to lose the war slowly. Currently the council sits 3-3 at whether the mercenaries should be sent or not.
Who is Garena under attack from?
The Kenku and the Orcs and the Gnomes.
Just those three, okay.
A
And the
formidable
council
army.
believes that Maladeth is somehow safe.
Symbia and Kirtar believe that Maladeth needs Halgania, and therefore Garena should be rescued as swiftly as possible, and they wish to send the mercenary armies. Konal and Erlan are the dividers. They believe that Halgania should be a nation unto its own. Currently, Jerdra and Rhea's reserve judgment, believing that they should not sufficiently weaken Maladeth to allow Maladeth to fall, but at the same time they do believe that help should be sent to Garena. However, not sending enough help is the equivalent of not sending any help at all. They both sit waiting to be turned to one side or the other. I would assume that is why the lady Celine sent you. The Merchant Guild is another key to this. If you wish the mercenaries to be sent, then they must be funded. They can only be funded by 2 people, the Silent. Well, 3, technically. The Silent, the Grand Council, and the Merchants. You would need to speak to Zelfar. He is the head of the Merchants' Council. But Rubraeth is known to be his one weakness, his daughter. You may go through her. The Circle and the College of Whispers also have influence on the Council. They may be avenues you might take. The Silent will have no sway on the Council, but the Grandfather wants to see Grana for it.
You say the Silent could fund?
They could, but it would break one of our core tenets of interfering in the politics of one country over another. We would have to be shown that other countries who are at war with Halgania, the Orcs, the Gnomes, the Kenku, are either working under false assumptions or a forced hand.
I think we've already known that. They believed the king to be evil, and they were right, but he was taken over,
That
therefore.
is why the Genasi attacked, and we believe it's why the Kenku attacked. But as to why, we don't know. One thing I can tell you is where the Kenku have hidden the Lord of Drathnor Keep.
Lord Vanthus.
Lord Vantus, indeed. He is held in the mountains of Jazuk. A palace known as Shirashai. I'll spell that in chat for you, in case anybody wants it. With an I on the end, because I can't type. Should you wish to go on a daring mission to save your lord and be loyal to Drathnor Keep and Drathnor Keep alone, as I inquired of you, Leovold, that is where I'd go. He may have information worth knowing.
Okay. And, well, if you'd be willing to answer this one, what of Teluria?
What of Teluria?
Teluria is still under threat, is it not?
It's not currently at war. People are coming and going twice a day, but apart from that, or twice every 24 hours, apart from that, there
Just
doesn't
probably know it is.
casually.
appear to be any risk. Yes, well, frankly, there is nothing we can do about it. The only person who can change it is the Queen. I would suggest that perhaps you go and inquire of her yourself. However, you seem to have many agendas and only a few of you.
What do you know of the Queen? If you'd be so willing
Powerful.
to
Powerful sorceress, a powerful cleric. Loyal to Teluria beyond fault. Loyal to Halgania, out of a long-term friendship. But more importantly, stands nothing to gain from Teluria separating from Halgania. Teluria has always been allowed its own rule and its own laws. They gain nothing from losing Halgania. And, of course, she gave up some of the protection of Teluria for the protection of Maladeth and Garena and Drathnor Keep, and Garena would have fallen by now if it wasn't for her works. So, to me she is loyal, although blinded for some reason. Blinded to the plight that Teluria suffers. Perhaps the plight is not visible from the inside.
what you say matches with what I assumed and believed.
It would seem you're better at judging others' character than working out your own.
True. True.
Regardless, as I said, any information you ask, I'm willing to give, but frankly, that is as easily as I can sort the confusion without knowing the true reasons behind anything. One thing I will tell you, you asked questions of one Lord Benego Battleaxe.
Ah.
He arrived at Teluria, but it was discovered that the person who arrived at Teluria was not truly Benego Battleaxe, but his younger brother. He had stayed behind to protect Lady Celine out of a duty given to him by one Maldranik many, many years ago. It was a deception made for the purpose of Drathnor Keep, and one mystery I can at least solve for you.
So not a purple doppelganger then.
If he is a purple doppelganger, he is operating in the interests of Lady Celine as thus, and has been her greatest protector in Garena.
No.
The dwarves, I believe, are incredibly loyal, and their efforts on the walls of Garena have been the main reason that Grenna has not fallen. But the dwarves will fall eventually. They will not win that war. Not without help.
And that's a lot to think of. And a lot to think about.
It is. It should also be interesting for you to know that today the monks retook Yaldor Monastery. It was abandoned. It was abandoned by the Dragonborn, and so they took it back. This has always been the pattern of the monks. Let the city fall, retake it when people find nothing of interest. It was a simple monastery, and they have it back under their sway.
The
Well,
Dragonborn.
The Dragonborn moved.
The Dragonborn returned to Arenti to fight on their borders with Lornoth. Perhaps the momentary panic caused by the fall of the council has now ended. That is what we believe.
So, with how many nations are at war right now, and how many wars are going on, are there any nations that are actually not at war in any
Salmissar.
capacity?
That's it. But ever has Salmissar remained aloof from mortal politics. They have, however, recently being a strange term in the eyes of the Drow, within the last 50 years, had some escapes of the Simic hybrids they look after. Perhaps 12 escaped. That is the last piece of news we had from Salmissar, and it is, as I said, up to 50 years old. Salmissar is the
12
one place
escaped.
our silent do not have any sway.
Is
Do you have
Samsar
eyes
doing
outside? If
On the borders,
Sorry.
yes. 2 Simic hybrids escaped in a boat along the river, out to the sea. Where they went from there, we do not know. As for the other 10, we've found no trace, but they are likely in the Underdark. I don't know if this news is relevant or even, as I said, in any way up to date, but the escaped Simic hybrids escaped approximately 8 years ago. The 2 of them down the river. That was when we heard of the information. So yes, there is one nation not at war, but it's a nation that's never at war, and frankly, if it was at war, we'd all be in trouble, so...
Very well.
That is the information I have. Do you have any other questions?
Right now, I don't think I do. I think there's so much being asked already and so much to work out that we need time to figure all this out ourselves, truly.
Excellent. I fancy somewhere more
I did
comfortable.
have one other thing I wanted to
Yes.
ask. It's just, it's been kind of, it's probably already been answered. So Roseanne, Oleg's wife, became a purple monster sort of in broad daylight after a freak accident.
Mm-hmm.
How have the other council members reacted to this?
An interesting question. The Grand Council have done as they always do, investigate quietly and show no outward reaction at all. But they were
Yes, I
shaken.
wasn't asking for outward reactions. I was asking the spy how they've reacted.
They were shaken. They began to mistrust each other, and they became hesitant in their judgments. All judgments have taken longer than they should. And Erlan is obviously regarded with mistrust. But that's not particularly different to how he was regarded before his wife turned into a purple crystal monster. Yes, Maverick?
How exactly did she die? You keep saying it's a freak accident.
She fell off a bridge.
What? Accidentally?
Yeah.
How so?
carriage.
A carriage was coming through. One of the horses had been spooked by another animal from a different passing carriage. And as the horse ran amok, the carriage swerved to the side. She fell off the carriage and landed on the rocks below.
And she had no way of... She had no, I don't know.
She was not a particularly gifted individual. She didn't just fly off. No. She just...
Terrible loss, but a good look for us.
Stroke of
I
good
mean,
luck.
I would just assume that someone who's killed someone and infiltrated their body would be a bit more keen to survive.
But seeing a freak accident can happen to anyone. It happened very quickly. Perhaps they didn't have time to react.
Maverick, you must remember, everyone can roll a 1.
Most definitely.
I don't know what you could be talking about.
Well, perhaps you should visit the 9-1 then. For it is where I will be next. I fancy somebody somewhere more comfortable. They have some rooms upstairs, if you ask the bouncers for a little look under the table. That sounds really shady, doesn't it? Should we change that to something else?
Please.
Perhaps ask for a rarer vintage of wine from the bartender. You will be connected with me. But until then, suggest that you take room. It is 11 o'clock. It is late. Your friend will return at some point, but I will send him your way.
Yeah, I guess we'll take this time and get out of your hair and consider our actions.
I spend all my days plotting, planning, and answering questions, so it doesn't really bother me, but there is only a certain amount of information that one not trained to the ways of the silent can take in one go.
Do you mind if we return later if we have any other questions?
That is why I told you where you could visit me. I will be at the 9-1. I look forward to seeing you again.
Are we seriously gonna leave
Regret that.
without Lucius?
Lucius will be returned to you in time.
So you say.
Which...
We have no reason not to trust what he says, though, so...
We also have no reason to trust what he says.
No, but you do have
We
this.
have no other better
He
option.
will not return to you via this doorway, so there is little
DM
point
question.
hanging about. Yes?
Iona was with us.
She
Right.
was.
Yeah, okay.
Just didn't notice that she wasn't with us when we went down the ladder.
Oh no, she came down the ladder. She also followed Lucius into the darkness. It was taken
okay.
swiftly. But you guys hadn't even noticed that she began to move. It is only at this point that you're beginning to look around and wonder where the fuck she is. She hasn't spoken all this time. Alamor has also sat in silence. You know how Iona is. She was wandering around, playing with various tables and poking things like she shouldn't. Then suddenly she was gone.
Fully forgot Elamor was here.
That's how you lost Iona. Regardless, if you have no other questions, we shall post you off to the Merry Widow to take some rest, where you booked some rooms last night. And we shall take a break. We resume with Lucius in a room with a halfling I misnamed. The grandfather is actually called Piccolo, not Severus. Or Piccolo, if you prefer. Yeah. And so, we proceed with you guys.
Sir,
Yes,
I had a few questions.
of course. I'm sure you have many.
When I was last here, he was only a small time. How did he?
He still is. It's just the band that he runs have been willing to do some things that one might regard as more ruthless. As a leader of the Silent cannot be seen to be interfering.
So,
As a leader of the Syndicate must be somewhat balanced in what they do or they'll be eradicated. So a third group adds spice to the mix.
I see. But if you were gone, how would Maldef change? How would it shift?
If I was gone...
No, if he were gone, not you.
Ah. If he was gone... Well... It would return back to its previous state. Which, given the current state of war, is not amenable. It was a state of caution. It was a state of treading lightly around everybody.
I see.
Sometimes you just need to kill some people and find out if they turn purple.
I see. I'm in this space. You probably don't want to hear my life story or my current woes.
I know
but
your life story. So tell me your woes. You might as well.
I find myself in a bit of a nebula. I'm trying to find... I'm just going to come out and say it. I want power. I want to rule.
A common goal for many people.
Yes, I know it's very...
There'll be an opening in Drathnor Keep, no doubt, in the future. I doubt they're going to let the bartender run it for good. Although Lord Bantus could be retrieved. There are openings in the Silent for one of sufficient willpower and interest, but you would have to swear the oath, and I believe that would cause a lot of problems for you.
Yes.
There could be other positions. The diplomat Kurkan. Once a diplomat to Drathnor Keep. He disappeared over the border to Novella. But
yes.
what you might have missed is that the king's chief advisor died in the war. Lady Celine has no chief advisor.
I see.
That's a position of power.
It is.
Perhaps a role in the syndicate. Perhaps a role as advisor, if you so like, to the Silent. Perhaps leader of a group. Or perhaps you should turn around and acknowledge that the 6 of you have more power than you realize. But you want to rule people. Is that what you mean by power?
Yes.
It's not
Besides-
power in and of itself, you know.
I know.
Knowledge is power. Control is power. Manipulation is power.
My entire life, I've mostly been darting back and forth, looking for someone to fill those shoes of... I can't really call him a father, now can I?
Beg to differ, I believe you could call many of them father. Is that why you've come to me?
No.
They call
I
me
won't be
grandfather,
looking-
you know.
I know. But I don't want to follow anyone else.
Not even the Lady Kenishirasa.
Truthfully, I believe that if I were to follow Kenna wherever she goes, I believe I'd be a blemish on her. She shines bright enough by herself.
A noble thing to say, but what you truly mean is you don't want to follow her because she would rather everybody was following you.
No.
No?
At least when it comes to Kenna.
Ah, I
I'm
see.
telling you the truth.
There are feelings there. Of respect. They're unusual for you, are they not?
Well, grandfather, since we're being so truthful...
You're being
I'll
truthful.
be truthful.
I've told you nothing. Carry on.
Okay, well, since I'm being truthful, I feel that there's no reason for me to hide anything anymore. I've been in love with Kenna since I was young.
Oh, how cute.
And I decided that it's better to remain quiet about it.
Yes, it is a weakness. Don't want to reveal those.
Yes.
Well, then perhaps you can respect her in her ambassador's role. I'm sure you'll be of great help to her. You don't wish to be parted from your group, but you wish power within it. Not within the group, but within the world, while being part of your group. Is that correct?
Yes.
As I said, there are roles within the Silent that don't require the oath. Is the oath a problem for you?
Well, in my current standing of life, the oath is a problem.
We could say you've
I know
taken
I'm being
the oath.
difficult. Huh?
We could say you've taken the oath. There are many members of the Silent who everybody else thinks have taken the oath.
What would that entail?
It depends. Do you want to roll seeking knowledge? Do you want to roll as an assassin? Do you want to roll as a merchant? Do you want to roll as a face? Do you want to be an ambassador? Do you want to have a little group which get together on Sunday evenings and plot in dark rooms with red candles? I mean, it depends what you're looking for. Can I give you the sway to maneuver the council into the way of thinking that Lady Kenna wishes? Possibly. Will I? No. There are many
Why
things. Why do I not want to sway the council one way or the other? I want the council to send the mercenaries to Arena. But I don't want them to be pushed into it. I want them to make the decision on their own accord. This is partly because we do have a tenet here at the Silent that we do not interfere with the politics of one nation over another, although, being the base of our operations, it would be nice if Maladeth didn't fall. Regardless, I would like to see the mercenaries sent, but if I push them, then the next time they need to take action for the good of all people, they won't. They'll wait to be pushed.
Then I can push them.
Of course. You are a young noble with a good heart, or something like that. You pushing them is merely any other petitioner. Me pushing them is blackmailing them. Sending them their children's fingers, things like that.
I see. And to what you said earlier, I have no qualms with killing.
Oh, I know. But you don't wish your group to become a group of assassins.
No, I wish to keep them
Something
out.
tells me your friend Leovold would be rather inept at that particular profession.
Well, if my cloaks have anything to say about it, then yes.
Perhaps I have something for you. But it is longer term, and shorter term, I suppose.
Okay.
That's it. I will speak clearly, man. I'm done with riddles. For today, at least. You at least seem to understand direct speech. Firstly, to raise the profile of a certain syndicate offspring group that happened to be led by a dwarf that you don't particularly like or dislike. I want something blamed on them.
Okay.
But they are too incompetent to do it themselves.
Then what will you have me do?
Distribute the blame, that's all. I want the Grand Council chambers moved.
Grand Council chambers are moved. Okay.
Listening in on the Grand Council is possible. Although recently we've had interference on divination magic, so it has made it more and more complicated. I want them to operate in a closed building, not an open one.
Okay.
So, I have a couple of options. The Grand Council chambers spontaneously destruct while they are not in session. Or they believe that somebody is trying to kill them in that council chamber. Or we could ask nicely, I guess.
We could ask nicely. I'll see what I can do.
Very well. You have 3 days, and then I'll blow up the Grand Council chambers, and it will be moved. And at that point, I would like you to blame it on our dwarven friends.
Understood.
At which point you may be asked to kill Yorick. Would that bother you?
No.
Good. Now, your little friend over there. Waves his hand, and Iona's binds and her gag. She was not actually gagged, she was just not able to speak. Come off, and she launches herself at Piccolo.
Can I try and stop her?
You can, but she's going to hit an invisible wall first.
Oh, okay.
And probably break a knuckle. Calm down, young lady. It was for your own good. You got to hear things that you wouldn't have otherwise heard. We didn't ask you to follow your friend Lucius into the shadows. You do a lot of that recently, don't you? She looks back at him. Yeah. What if I wanted a position in the Silent? Piccolo chuckles. Oh, good. Well, it would seem persuasion's not going to be necessary. Here is my rules, Lucius. If you take a position, you take this lady as your second. Forgive me, but she has far less binding her than you do.
Understood.
Good. Iona, you will take the oath. She looks at him, so... What's the oath? It's quite simple. You swear loyalty to the Grandfather of the Silent. You swear not to interfere with politics based on the knowledge you've gained as a Silent, but you will not be able to stop your superior, Lucius, from doing so. So that shouldn't be a problem. And you'll swear to protect him. We'll leave the rest out. But breaking these bonds results in death. She shrugs her shoulders. Doesn't sound too bad. Why do I sign up?
Sure.
I've got no purpose, Lucius. I've got no future. I've got no path. I have some exciting history that I don't particularly wish to get involved in. I want to punch things, I want to know things, and I want power, a bit like you. But this seems simpler for me. I have nobody to worry about stepping on their toes. If Lady Kenna doesn't like me punching people for the Silent, then I will leave. I can still protect you from a distance. Although I do find the protecting you a bit ironic. Given how yesterday's fight went down. But hey.
You're still helpful.
Connor looks at her. Yesterday's fight? The Crimson Dagger? Yes, I got my ass handed to me. He looks at her, very confused. You should see Reyes. Clearly there is some part of you that is not unlocked. Yesterday, because it's now 1 o'clock in the morning.
I do have an appointment with him as well.
Yes, I believe that your elven heritage is going to come in useful. I believe your appointment is in 5 hours. Or
Yes.
thereabouts. You can trust Reyes. He's a straight shooter. He has... I'm not sure oath is the right word. He has taken vows, I guess, to poverty, to speak the truth, to judge fairly, to... It makes him impossible to manipulate.
Sway.
But it also makes him very trustworthy. I like Reyes. We've met a few times.
He's a very interesting man.
You will also swear an oath before you leave this room, Lucius.
That is.
Not to reveal the nature of the Grandfather or to whom he serves, other than to your 6 companions. And if the knowledge gets out from them, I will hold you personally responsible. They do not need to know that I run the Syndicate. They do not need to know that I run your little dwarven outfit. They do need to know I run the Silent. My name is known in Maladeth. If it gets out, it's not an issue. The fact that the Silent run the Syndicate is not. If it comes to light, I will kill Lady Kenna.
Understood.
Very good. Place your hand upon the book here.
I do so.
And you take 10 piercing damage as it wraps into your hand and grips you. Simply say the words. I swear not to reveal the nature of Grandmaster Piccolo to anyone other than the friends I have from Drathnor Keep. And as you repeat the words, you feel bound. Unwise to break that one.
I will not.
They call you Iona, do they not? Yes. Grandfather. Interesting. Well, I won't be the one to dispel that. Iona, if that is who you believe you are, then that is who you shall be. You must take the full oath. And Lucius, you watch as she places her hand upon the book and proceeds to utter oath after oath after oath. But most of them are merely to protect you, and not to use politic for her personal gain, and loyalty to the Grandfather. Then you hear her wince. You see her wince, sorry. And, yes, perhaps I should have mentioned that one. From now on, the Lady Iona can be spoken to at will by me, and I can see through her eyes if necessary.
Is this all the silent?
No, only those who swear the full oath.
I see.
But, of course, all the silent swear the full oath, don't they, Lucius?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. The thing is the oath discourages intuition. It discourages thought for oneself. It discourages innovation, and frankly, if everybody is a mindless slave, then what's the point? I might as well do all the thinking for them. Recruit intelligent people to the silent. Swearing the full oath is not actually particularly useful to them.
Mm.
That's the reasoning behind it, but everybody believes that everyone is acting entirely loyally, then, well. You may tell your friends about Vrax.
I will.
And I will tell you this personally. If by some strange means you come across Vrax, you discover him, if you are able to kill him, you will have wealth beyond any desire you have ever wished. And for goodness sake, I'll have you named a lord of somewhere. A whole keep to yourself. Each of you, if you like. Honestly, nothing is a larger thorn in my shell right now than Vrax. The small bounty is to see whether I can weasel him out of hiding. The true bounty is for those I think might stand a chance. Only your bonds to your friends will keep you guys alive, if Vrax finds you. But they may keep you guys alive.
Understood.
Actually, there is something I want you to have.
Yes?
It may help you, it may not. And he hands you what appears to be a small black rod. And as you hold it up, you're told that you can utter the keyword and create a light that is blindingly bright, but visible only to you.
Interesting.
It's usable once a day.
Okay. This could be helpful.
It also will illuminate that darkness that you saw within the chambers of Koivan. It is a trick the Silent use regularly.
Ah, okay. I see. This will be most useful then.
You will not seek me again. You will seek Kevin if you need anything. He is an accomplished enough liar to hide how much interaction him and I have and how important he is to the Silent. You may tell your friends if you wish, but I don't see what it would gain them other than a short bit of embarrassment.
I do have one last thing to ask you.
Yes.
If we were to kill Vrax, I'm not sure what my friends would ask for. But me, I don't want riches or anything. I know I can come upon that myself. What I want is a favor from the Silent.
The nature of which?
I don't know yet, but I'll know when I come upon it.
I do not give out unnamed favors, but should you succeed, you may ask.
Okay.
And if I refuse, I will instead grant you some lordship somewhere and a lot of money.
Fine.
Very good. How does northeastern Arenti sound? Did I get you far away?
Sounds delicious, but I think I want more and more people under my sway. Who knows? We'll see.
Right, so. Excellent.
Wow.
All right, well, I could blindfold you and take you out on a interesting... Just walk out the door.
Thank you. Iona, after you.
No.
Do you want to stay?
Oh, that is him that responded.
Oh, okay.
She will be staying. She will see you in the morning.
Okay. I'll just walk over and just put my hand on Iona's shoulder. I'll see you later.
Well done, Lucius. Look after yourself. Get some sleep. I'll see you in the morning for a training session with Reyes.
Yes. And I'll turn and walk out.
Excellent. You walk out and you find yourself walking out the front door of the Merry Widow.
Oh. Well, that is... I have to learn that. And I'll make my way to the Merry Minstrel, right? For
the Merry Widow is where you were headed. So if you turn
the
around
Yeah, I will
No,
turn
the Merry
right back
Minstrel
around.
is in Urxos, and it's a long walk.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, too many campaigns. Yeah, as you turn around and walk straight back through the door, you find yourself in the Merry Widow.
Oh, I guess I'll walk up to the bartender and ask for a wine before I head to my room.
We're just closing down, but yeah, one Everkiss wine. It's 2 gold.
Thank you. I'll slide it over.
I believe somebody is waiting for you in room 23.
Waiting for me.
She said if you don't go to her before you go to bed, she will wake you with a dragon.
Oh, I guess I'm in trouble. All right. I'll head to room 23.
Excellent. And as you do so, you knock on the door. Lady Kenna. You hear a knock.
Am I the only one in this room? Because I imagine
That is entirely
there are
your
several
call.
other people who wanted to be in this room.
And did you allow them?
Yes.
Who else wants to be in the
I
room?
also wanted to talk to Lucius.
Larry?
I'd like to be. I'm very angry.
Do you want to speak to him with everybody else, or do you want to wait till he retires to your room because that's his room?
Oh no, we're
I
having
mean,
an
I
intervention.
don't want Kara to have to.
Okay, we're
repeat
gonna have a nice communal meeting. Lovely. As you knock on the door, Kenna, you open it, and all of your friends are standing there, apart from Alamore, who's
Oh.
retired to bed.
Oh, hello. You want to speak to me?
Well, I think we'd rather you spoke to us.
Yeah. What the
You
fuck
need
was
to
that?
explain a lot.
What? Pray tell, do you want to know?
You can't just walk off like that.
I'm sorry.
Are you?
Quite frankly, Maverick, no. I'm not sorry.
Why? Then don't say it.
You're right.
Then-
What
I did.
was that back there?
Please take it in turns, gentlemen, as you interrogate Lucius.
Sorry, Maverick. I'll go to Kenna first. What are you saying, Kenna?
I said, sit down and talk.
Yes, ma'am. Sit down and take my cloak off.
You might want to start from the beginning.
Well, okay. You all know that. You already know that I'm not from Drathnor Keep. I originally come from. Well, my original name was Killian. You know that already. My father tried to kill me, and well, I ended up here in Maladeth. When I came here, I was taken in by. You already know the name, York. He was a small. During that time, still a small time mob boss. And I guess I was hungry for a father figure. By that time, when I was here in Maladeth, I didn't go by Killian. I went by the name Red because of my hair. Aiming to please him, I decided to hurt people to help him. And well, after a while, there's some years of hurting people, and I was good at it. But I got tired of it. And well, there was a man. His name was Lucius. He took a liking to me. And well, York's a really bad guy. Not only does he traffic stolen goods, all types of shit, he also traffics children. Well, Lucius took a liking to me. He decided to adopt me. He had no heirs of his own. He began to train me. Well, I shouldn't say train. He began to teach me. But it was York's idea for me to go to his place and map it out. York wanted something in Drathnor Keep. Well, that's what I was there for. But Lucius was more of a father to me than York or my other father. my original father, Faison, will ever be. He taught me about... he taught me to read and write. He taught me everything. He pretty much made the Lucius Claudius Vistorius you know today. But I do have a darkness in me. Well, since then, yeah, I decided to stay with Lucius. I kind of lived happily ever after, I guess, until one day one of Yorick's agents came by to check on me. I never sent back correspondence, anything like that. On that day, I killed him. I decided to break ties off with Yorick completely. But you all know, I'm not sure if you remember, but Lucius was very sick. He was dying. Well, on the day that he died, that's when I took the name up. I took the mantle. And well, I became Lucius Claudius Vistorius. Being back in Maladef is reawoken things in me, but guys, I'm sorry. I am sorry. But I told this to Iona before. I'm angry all the time. And truthfully, where I'm walking, I don't want to take you guys there with me.
At this point, Rook throws a dagger at you. You take 3 points of piercing damage. You will stay with us.
Yeah, I deserve that, yeah. But that's pretty much the full story.
Sorry.
You could have told us all of this when we were at Valis' house. Before we came back to town and you felt the need to wander off. Doing who knows what with who knows who.
I wasn't doing anything strange, but I didn't really know exactly what I was going to do coming back here. Truthfully, I never wanted to come back. I was happy to leave Yorick in the past. But it just seems to all catch up to you.
Does he know that you're here?
It's only a matter of time. I'm not really trying to hide it either. I kind of hope he finds me.
And were you planning on facing him by yourself?
Oh, Laurie, I haven't thought that far yet.
Lucius is sat down, right?
Yeah, I'm sitting.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna walk over to Lucius, put a hand on his shoulder, and then crouch down. I'm gonna look him dead in the eyes. We're your family. You could have told us.
I know. But I guess that could also be my own strange way of trying to protect you all.
We protect each other. That's what family does.
I know. But I can't help but feel that something is calling to me. There's something that's pulling me. And
Well,
I don't want to drag you all down there with me.
whatever
you
is
all.
calling you, we will answer the call together.
A little choked up here. Thank you, Maverick. Thanks a lot. I don't know what else to really to say.
At this particular moment, Iona walks into the room. Oh. We're having a party?
This is not much of a party. Iona,
I need to sleep.
you should.
You okay? We noticed you disappeared too.
Yes, I followed Lucius. I wanted to know where he was going, and more importantly, I wanted to make sure he made it. But instead I discovered a future for myself. I've bound myself to the Silent. And I will tell you for free.
What?
I will tell you for free, it is not the most peaceful or easy of transitions. I've sworn an oath. But it shouldn't affect my following with you all and assisting you. For that is what the Silent have bound me to do.
Why did you join them?
Power, knowledge, understanding, and a path in my life that I've been missing for a long, long time. Did you want to say that with your microphone on?
Not particularly. I'm just saying, what power? Why power? Like, we've not. Have I missed something? Have we known that she wanted that before? I'm kind of confused
Some
as
of
to
you
why
have.
power.
We're a lot alike, Maverick. Ion and I.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
Well, I didn't swear the oath that she swore. No.
But you did
she-
have quite the long conversation with the grandfather.
Has he told you that he was talking to the grandfather?
Nope.
Well,
Nope.
we asked that
We asked.
clarified that that guy
what's-his-face.
was the grandfather, so we know that he left with the grandfather.
Do you? Oh, you were told, yes. You were told.
Asked, yeah.
Okay.
You were told, yeah.
Yeah, so what deal did you make, Lucius? At this point, I'm going to stand up and walk back to everyone else.
Well, it's a slight oath of secrecy, but I am not bound in the way that Iona is.
What do I have a feeling we're going to have some conflicts of interest crop up?
He wasn't bound in secrecy to you.
Oh, I'm aware, but
Only to others. There are natures of the grandfather that we are not allowed to tell. I need some sleep. I'm gonna head to my room.
Please do.
Oh, wait. You're
Oh,
in
this
it.
is your room, isn't it?
There may be a
Well, I'm
few
off
too
then.
many people here. I'm gonna not say anything. I'm gonna go back to mine and Lucas's room. Not to sleep. I'm just gonna go there.
yeah, I'm just heading back to mine as well.
Well, I start to stand up. Unless there's any more questions. I have an appointment tomorrow.
You know, Lucius,
Yes, kind of.
if you're afraid of pulling us down, we can also be your anchor.
That was a good line.
Look at Kenna. You're my anchor in more than ways than you know.
Good night, Lucius.
Good night, Kenna. And I'll return to my room.
Brother Ilari, are you leaving?
I'm gonna make a big sigh, and I'm going to stand to go, and I'm gonna stop in the doorway, and then I'm gonna turn to Kenna. You okay?
So many questions, so little time.
It's not gonna get any easier.
No, I don't think it is.
I'm going to sort of salute her a little bit playfully, and I'm gonna head out.
As you do, the Lady Iona turns to Kenna. Can I ask you a couple of questions?
Fire away.
How do you know what the right thing is to do?
Are you sure you don't want to start with the big question?
I'll get to that one in a minute.
It depends. In my feelings, the right way leads to the least loss of life. In whatever way that can be achieved.
Part of my oath was to protect Lucius. But they also made me swear an oath to protect you. And an oath to try and keep the two of you together. I don't know why. But the Silent have plans for Lucius. And they believe that Lady Selene has plans for you. They want him involved with them.
We'll always be friends.
On that note, I'll ask my second question. What do you do when you love somebody and they don't love you back?
Honestly, I don't know if I can answer that.
Do you tell them?
Do you want to?
Not really. I'd give my life for him before I was embarrassed before him.
Just don't throw your life away chasing something that's not real.
Thanks. And as she opens the door between your two rooms, you see a figure standing there, cloaked fully in black, the phantasmal blade before him. He grabs the Lady Iona. And he's
Nice
gone.
shoot.
Only if you were holding your bow at the time. And there we shall end.
Okay. Hey, you were worried about this episode.
Also, can I just shout out to the person who sent me this soundtrack? Because it's fucking brilliant. It's damn good music. Yeah, I mean, I suppose I should probably make a note of the fact that it's by an independent artist called... what was the name? This particular track is by Zach Hemsey, sorry. Yeah. Good track. Anyway. Yeah, we'll come to Josh. MVP. Or just a moment you enjoyed.
I'm having a stroke. I mean, I feel like I say this every fucking MVP for this campaign, but it's us. It's it's just kind of the chemistry between us all. But like,
Any particular moments stand out?
What?
Any particular moments stand out for that?
Just when we were all like, when Lucius Jr. / Lucius the Second,
Lucius the less important.
came back, and we were all like, you know, we are a family. That was nice, but like, I so hope I'm wrong, but I've just got this horrible, like, hit in my stomach and so much dread that, like, because if this was a movie, this would be like the tipping point at the end where you say that was the point where the team cracked and crumbled, and like, it's just, I just have an awful feeling. So yeah, I'm very emotional right now. James, that's it.
Yeah, I was just thinking on it.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Cal, Mother Larry.
I mean, I've got a lot, obviously, to choose from, but it's mostly going to be all the reveals with Lucius today. Pretty clearly, I'll leave everything that happened afterward for somebody else. But oh, but also shout out to like the dude who got like that we were getting information from, who got like super uppity with Leovold specifically.
Yeah, he wanted to know what this we was. I don't know. It's me as a DM, and it's the characters as trying to push Leovold into really considering what he's doing as part of this group and why he exists, and what he wants from life.
I actually kind of got like that was the feeling that I got from it, but also it's more funny if I believe that he just had like a problem with Leovold specifically.
Yeah, I mean, it is an element, a problem with Leovold specifically, although the problem is with Maverick as well, that they don't understand their motives. They get the motives of Lady Kenna, they get the motives of Lucius, they think they get the motives of Brother Alari, they get the motives of Rook. The other two are a little harder. They don't like things they can't suss out. So, yeah, no, I like that. I like that shout out. Kenna. Laura, your MVP?
There was a lot this episode. I mean, I really did just want him to just sit down and list out his backstory so that we could know
That was my
what the heck
moment.
was going on.
Sit down, read your backstory now!
Just like, yeah, no, I liked all the character interactions this episode, and
Good. Jamal. That's not an MVP. That's only the first letter.
Well, Jamal thinks I just want to quickly put in that like I knew before that the whole Lucius liking Kenna thing. I was not expecting him to like drop it in this episode. I was like, what? He's just admitted it.
I've been wondering if that was ever gonna be revealed. It was sort of obvious to me as a DM. I've never been told.
I thought
but it was sort of
Lucius
obvious to me as a DM, like that there was some trust there. There was some sort of belief beyond the basic standard belief, but I didn't know if it would get revealed. And also, Josh has just stolen my MVP. So I might as well talk about it now.
I thought it was going to be told on like a this is my deathbed kind of moment.
Yeah, and that was definitely my MVP, was the out of nowhere reveal to Grandfather Piccolo. That like I did know, but I didn't know. Like I'd never been told, but I thought I knew. So having that revealed in session was very interesting. Like Lucius has always needed a reason to be bound to the group as closely as he is. He was the one person who could potentially get away with not being one of the outcasts in Drathnor Keep, always as a kid. He was the one person who could potentially walk away from it all. There needed to be a why don't you? And I had assumed that Kira had gone for this, but I wasn't sure. So the little reveal out of nowhere was beautiful. Speaking of which, Jamal will defer you for a moment and we'll go to Kira.
The fucking intervention was godlike. I just like literally like oh, someone's waiting for you in room 23. I'm like, oh shit. I was gonna do this in the morning. I thought I was gonna get some sleep. Nope. And just walk in this like I could just imagine Canada arms crossed. So where the fuck were you? Just like
I like episodes that end at midnight, end of the night, and we picked up at 9 p.m. and we finished at 1 a.m. You know you've had a good episode when it runs in fucking real time. So yeah, I enjoyed that. Also, the complete blank look on Lucius's face when he realizes that he's just walked out the door of the place he was trying to walk into. I enjoyed that.
Mary was like, okay, Mary Widow. Well, I'm trying to go to Mary Minstrel.
So when he realized it, put two together, he's like, oh, that's neat.
Too many campaigns.
Jamal.
I reckon the MVP for this one is going to have to go to the VOD because the amount of shit we're going to have to watch over and take notes off from this.
Well, that shall be up. Richard better just had a fucking week off, so with no Cass and no Evil Sagravia and no Hosh, Well, not that he does that, but still, he's got plenty of time, so it better be a good one. But yeah, no, I love this place. Being the Thursday table, not the Aldessa. I just, I mean, it's a shame we're missing Matt for such a information overload episode. But if anything, he'll probably get the notes better than anybody by watching it back. Yeah, I like that sometimes. I mean, I said I didn't have any notes because I had the notes from last session, and I didn't think we would get through them. We didn't. We still haven't got to Maverick and Alamar's date. We still haven't got to the meeting with Reyes in the morning. But Iona's mysteriously vanished. I wonder when she'll turn back up. If anybody didn't get it, that was Rax.
That was Rax.
Yeah, I was gonna ask
Just
if I
making
recognized
sure
him.
that we're really on board with that. That's Rax.
Yeah.
That's Rax.
You don't know why he's here. You don't know why she's gone. And yeah, you'll find out. Or you won't. We'll see.
Oh no, we're finding out.
Yeah, you'll find out at the beginning of the next episode. I'll tell you that for free. But yeah, no, so I really enjoyed it. We are going to raid. We are going to raid the wonderful Zed Clay. He is, I believe he's Valheiming away. Yes, he's Valheiming away. He's a friend of the channel. He's been really supportive, so. Oh, no, that's not a person. Cancel that.
Oh.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, embarrassing.
Let's put some numbers on the end. Ah! I've pressed a button. That means I've muted my mic, doesn't it? Okay, yeah, there we go. Let's unmute that. He's really cool, really nice guy. He's playing Valheim. Send him some love. Raid call, sub raid, all that shit. You will find us live for Urxos tomorrow at
6. Right?
6 p.m. EST. You're going to be seeing a lot of Jamal tomorrow. Get ready for that.
I need to do a lot of prep for that.
The previous episode is on YouTube, and it's a brilliant watch. Wilson's has put a lot of effort in, so go and enjoy it. And we shall see you guys next week for Drathnor Key. Thank you so much for being here.
Catch
If you
you
guys
next
would
time.
like to say goodbye,
Goodbye.
Bye.
Sweet dreams.